You know the first YouTube video ever? It's just a guy, like, these are elephants. You can tell they're elephants by their long gray trunks, and that's all there is to say. That's it. That's the first YouTube video. Not no, the beat was one of our first videos.
Oh yeah.
That was a joke at the beginning. Like our first talk show skit was the beat, which has been canceled to make room for Suresh.
That's good.
Yeah, I actually do three different voices during that opening, because I had to 3, 2, 1 the beat from the original video has been canceled, and then Suresh Naruzi. So
That's cool.
and there's a bunch of clips of the older stuff. Going on 5 years now, just making silly shorts and sketches and skits and peripherals, for just for kicks, honestly. It was just here. I like this audio cut here.
Welcome to the Super Energy Talk Show.
Anyway, yeah, we've been doing it for a long time. It basically just started as a little thing. Alec, Risky, and I, we got together and we were just hanging out, and we said, "Hey, let's make those funny shorts we used to when we were kids, or whenever we had an English project." Like, he's trying to cut me off. He's trying to tell me to stop talking. So I'm just like, "What is the #1 selling breakfast cereal in America right now? Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch, because children love violence." Because it cuts the corners of your mouth. Well, for this particular type of short, we've done it before, like a talk show skit. We try to do longer takes, because it's just like you wouldn't want cuts in a talk show. That it doesn't look good. But when it comes to other stuff, I mean, basically there are no rules. I don't know, sometimes it's absurd, sometimes it's surreal, sometimes it's just like improv stuff. The Patrick McCormick Comedy Hour, we did in 2 half-an-hour-long takes. Our friend hosted us. Random characters would go on over the course of that hour. He would, in real time, get drunk. And he was drinking real alcohol, so it's not even like fake drunk. And he was like screaming by the end. So a lot of what you see that take place in that basement with the pool hall in it is like is us getting together after school kind of thing, because it was around the end of high school that they moved out. So basically beginning of university was when everything was shifted. He's a talented musician who had to do a project for a class. He's so soft spoken. We have to like crank the gain on some stuff. Sometimes we'll have to crank it so much that you can like hear nothing but static and just him going, "Yeah, well, you know how it is." He put the mic in front of him, cranked the gain to 100%, and said, "You make a sound, it'll pick it up. I'll just be over there." But I was the one who came up with, let's make a video that's entirely about this end table, and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But then as I started explaining and we started setting stuff up, they're like, "Oh, this is fun." This is all improvised from, while I was working one day. I kept coming up with like different one-liners, just like, "Hey, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about a thing," stuff like that. And I was like, having a conversation like that would be interesting. But then obviously the imagination kicks in, and I'm like, what if it was just the same guy? So I put on a suit, and I was like, it's just going to be me, but what I need are 3 shots. Dylan was holding the sound. Graham was just making sure the cameras were steady. But it was 3 tripods, 3 different cameras, 3 different shots that I just kept running back and forth between every time I spoke. So at the very end of some of these, you can just see me start to move, because I was running back and forth. Certainly we like to experiment with more absurd stuff too, which is sometimes a bit jarring. But in terms of like inspiration, I son of a bit. Where do we put the stuff where we're actually trying legitimate filmmaking stuff? I was I was coming off a long stint of like all-nighters over and over again, and like not doing homework and being nervous about stuff, and apologizing to professors. So This was, I don't know, how shall we say, method acting to my brother, whom I relate to. Apparently that's grammatically incorrect. Whom I relate to. There have been similar stuff, but never. I would say we're unique in that we make them, but not like, LOL. My friends and I are so random. Like we make them with the idea of skits in mind. I don't know. It's unique to us. We're really only making these for ourselves and practice for later. There really is a difference. I think with just like whoa, acting wacky in front of a camera. Like we want to. Sometimes we tell stories on here. Like Jack Barnaby. There's a body, and it's the cause is inappropriate of his death. So it's just like he picks up the phone like in the middle of a field, and he's like, Jack, I need you down here quick. It zooms out. Jack's holding the phone. He's like, oh, good, you're here. Just stuff like that. Well, we made fake blood. I drank a whole bunch of it and spit it out on him. I told the other two to do that, but I don't think they quite got what I was trying to do, and we could only do it in one take because they only had one shirt. So, fun fact, our cameraman is shirtless for most of this. So my friend Patrick McCormick, a very clever concept guy, came up with this idea of just like a baseball guy against a bunch of vampires with as many bat-related puns as possible. And I was like, there aren't that many bat puns. But, eventually he moved away and, he sort of lost interest in it. But I was like, hey, can we try it? So he's like, yeah, go ahead. I just wanted Saru shirtless, so I came up with a Chad character for him. So all of the choreography, made up on the spot. One shot at a time. Oh, and Cyrus is very unhappy that he got blood all over him. That's why he was the first to go, because he's like, I really want to stop this. Well, I guess a lot of it's rough. I like this shot. I was playing something in the background at the time, and it's like super emotional the way his face looks, and he's like, fighting against the horde sort of thing. I really like Liam's physical acting. Sometimes his reminds me a little bit sometimes of like, I don't know, Buster Keaton comes to mind because he does have a stone face and he doesn't emote very well, right? There's a point coming where I kick him while he's on the ground, and the way, this is partly due to Graham's camera movements, but the way he also reacts to it makes it look like visceral. I wish I didn't touch my cape because it looks perfect, and then it looks awkward. Oh well. Eventually, when it gets to 100 videos, my friend Dylan says he's going to make a video called Top 100 Shorts. So
you've made 100 videos.
Close. 94-ish. One got taken down. Like, Philip Glass apparently is like trying to obliterate all traces of his music on YouTube. So part of the beauty is just getting together and, us lying around a circle and just someone's like, I got it, what about this? An egotistical, like, journalist, a crazed Area 51 type, flashback-riddled veteran or something. Pulp Fiction, but with a dorky white guy instead of Sam Jackson. Coney 2012. So it's like, we gotta get Coney, but it's like 5 years past its, no, longer than that, Christ, 7 years past its relevance. Sometimes we base it on a costume. Like there was this, Aliens Are Real. Dylan was like, well, what if what do you got for costumes? So he brings down a wig and like a little helmet and a cap and, a monkey mask, and we're just like, what the fuck do we do with this? Apparently that's everyone's favorite short now, so.